What do you think is the likely price for Bitcoin by the end of the year? And do you think that the bull market ends at the end of the year, or does it carry us into the beginning of 2022?
Yeah, that's the most asked question. I would be very, very surprised if Bitcoin price would be below $100,000 at the end of the year. That would, well, sort of invalidate my view, my models, and that would certainly surprise me. I do think we will see a price that is at least $135,000 by Christmas, because that's what my floor model says. And basically, I'm using three kind of models that all say the same thing. So stock to flow, which has 100,000 on average for the entire cycle, and mind you, we're 1.5 years into that cycle and with below 100,000 prices. So we'll have to spend the next 2.5 years markedly above 100,000 to make that average. And the second model I use is the on-chain stuff. That on-chain stuff is really good at identifying bottoms and peaks. So we're now talking peaks, of course. So I know quite certain, not guaranteed, but I will have high confidence in that the on-chain indicators will signal a top. And if we look at the on-chain signals right now, I would say that top is at least a couple of months, say 6 months from here. So that would be end of Q1, maybe later. And then the third kind of models that I use, of course, that floor model, the 135,000. That's not based on stock to flow. It's based on other. It's a proprietary thing, but it's based on other stuff, technical and on chain. So yeah, and by the way, that's very good at, like the name says, at indicating bottoms. So I guess we will be above 100,000, above 135,000 at the end of the year, and then we'll continue to grow, maybe towards the stock to flow X model targets, 288 or even above. I would not be surprised even to see in Q1 or Q2 next year prices of 300, 400, $500,000. But I do think, and I noticed you were talking before in this show that I'm full bull. I am right now, but I'm quite sure that there will be a time when I switch from bull to bear, like I did at the end of 2017. And to be honest, I'm a bit of struggling with that, because I don't want to disclose it, because I want to at least disclose it responsibly and not be responsible for triggering the bear market. So if people have ideas for that, I think they are very welcome.
And so when you think about that $288,000 price, I think a lot of people have heard you say that before. But when you say that it could go higher, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, is that just pure kind of FOMO and a blow off top that drives that? Or is there something else that you're looking at that shows that, hey, maybe we do go past that 288 that the stock to flow model has there?
No, that will indeed be a FOMO, and that will be very clearly marked in the on-chain analysis, which is looking for certain kinds of transactions which I called them before, but those are FOMO transactions. So if the algos see the FOMO kind of transactions coming in, then the end is near. And yeah, so I would envision, like for example, going to 500K somewhere Q2 or something, and then crash back. Maybe 80% again to 100K, have a bit of a bear market, and then continue another cycle starting with the halving in 2024.
Going from 57,000 today to 500K in Q2, back down to 100K, and then continuing into the next halving. while it sounds crazy to a lot of people, would be pretty consistent with what we've seen in the past in terms of volatility, both up and down. So it's interesting to hear you say that. Joe, what questions do you have?
Yeah, PlanB, thanks for doing this. I know I'm a big fan of yours and your models and your analysis, so I know a lot of others are also. My question would be around kind of the correction that you just spoke of, right? Which is, we're at 57, 58,000 now almost. You're saying that it's going to average at least 100,000 over this cycle, which is 2020 to 2024. So we obviously have to go much higher, whether it's 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, we'll see. But traditionally, there's also been an 80% correction. So is that something that you think will in fact happen again? And kind of how are you thinking about that in the long term?
Yeah, I do think that's exactly what will happen again. I can be wrong, right? Let me be very clear. I can be wrong, but I do think that 4-year cycle that is sort of triggered by the halving is a very real thing. It has to do with the scarcity of Bitcoin. It has to do with the shortage that we're seeing right now. Bitcoins are traded on exchanges, and the exchanges have some inventory of Bitcoin, and you can buy it, you can sell it, but it's basically not on-chain transactions. It's Bitcoins that are on the exchange, and you buy them from other sellers and you sell them to other buyers. But if you look on-chain, so the Bitcoins that are in cold storage that large investors have, you can very clearly see these waves of shortage, and we're in one right now that will at least last another couple of months before it's really well out of sellers, if you will. But yeah, from there, and what other news will trigger it, I don't know. I do think there will be a crash, and it could be as large as the crashes we've seen in the past. We have had 3 crashes of 80%, and I see no reason why we couldn't have another one, which of course is always short-lived and an excellent opportunity to buy more Bitcoin. But it could be quite scary for newcomers, which is, precisely what, of course, those cycles do. They shake out people that are leveraged, that are investing with too much money, that are not certain of their investment strategy, that are, those people. You need those really committed hodlers, if you will, and they'll rise again.
John, what do you think?
Yeah, PlanB, nice to virtually meet you. Congrats on all the success so far. I know you reached 1 million Twitter followers in just about 3 years. So that's pretty impressive. I want to talk about your stock to flow model real quick. So you have it projected at hitting about $1 million a coin by 2025. Do you believe this? Do you still believe it? And then if so, how do we get there?
Yes, so I really do think that we have at least one more cycle to go in the stock to flow prediction. So yes, that would bring Bitcoin in the $1 million to $5 million range, and I really do believe that we're getting there. And so that would be the path that we're seeing right now. We're going from 57 or right now to 63, 98 in November, and 35, for example, or something above that, right? In December, and then FOMO starts to kick in. We go to 200, 300, 400, whatever, and then crash. And from there, we wait till the next halving, and the next halving will be another important fundamental and even maybe structural event for Bitcoin, because I think that's what people misunderstand, that it's all about the supply and the doubling of the stock to flow ratio, which is an important part. But the other part is that miners will have to survive that event, because their income, their source of income, and their revenue stream will halve, and they'll have to switch to new equipment, find better ways to fund themselves, and be much more efficient in their business. And if the miners and the whole business survives another halving, that's a major accomplishment, and that will trigger the next rise from, say, 100,000 after the next crash to 10x, 20, 30x, that amount, which is in the millions indeed.